All right, so the NFL, the trade deadline came and went. I mean, I guess I'll give them credit. I had a suspicion that the trade deadline might have been quiet, but it wasn't. So I have up here this Nick Bosa. I always get the Bosas mixed up. Yeah, I think Nick Bosa's with the Niners, Joey's with the Chargers. So this is Nick Bosa with Chase Young. Probably asking why do I have a picture of the two of them. They are now teammates. Washington had a kind of head scratching trade deadline where they moved Chase Young and Montez Sweat. The Chase Young part I think I could understand because I think some people were just at the point that they thought Chase Young needed a change of scenery because he hadn't necessarily lived up consistently to the pick from Washington. He looked great at times, then he had some injuries and is just inconsistent, so now he moves on. Montez Sweat, I didn't think they were going to move him, but they moved him to the Bears, which the Bears it's an interesting move. Uh, uh, Chase Young, Nick Bosa will now bookend a defensive line in San Francisco that's obviously been upgraded. Liam, I don't. It's all good. Like I said, at the end of Liam, we can track back to some of the soccer news. I'm definitely open to talk more about that later on. But they bookend a defensive line on a team that the defense has slipped a little bit the past couple of weeks, and in infusing Chase Young onto that defense could definitely lift them up, get them back to the level that they were last year. Although the biggest issue with the Niners, if you want to be honest, is on the other side of the ball. Because if Brock Purdy's going to continue to turn the ball over and hurt that offense, there's only so much the defense will be able to do anyway. But I love the move from the Niners. Absolutely do. Like I said, from Washington, I understood the Chase Young move. Sweat did not see that coming, him going to the Bears. So I guess the Commanders are punting on the season. But I thought it was an important season for Ron Rivera. Maybe Washington's already told themselves Rivera moves on, Bieniemy takes over next year. Rivera probably maybe moves upstairs to the front office. I don't know. But for a team that's the Commanders are 3-5? Not like they're all the way out of it in terms of a playoff spot. But it's a tough decision that teams have to make at the trade deadline anyway. Jory says Washington will be making some major changes come season end. Definitely seems that way. Like I said, there's going to be a shakeup at head coach. Ron Rivera does not make it past this year. You don't bring in Bieniemy with all of the narratives behind Bieniemy not being a head coach. You bring him in to be the offensive coordinator when there's questions about Rivera possibly moving out. The writing's on the wall that Bieniemy should be the next head coach. I say should be because you don't know what some of these NFL teams. But again, I think Rivera in the front office would be fine because at least he's an adult. He served his purpose under the Dan Snyder stuff. Rivera was a calming presence, steady presence, underneath all the foolishness with Dan Snyder. Now that Snyder's gone, I think Washington can operate a little bit differently. Insert Eric Bieniemy as head coach. But some other, I guess, moves in the trade deadline that may have gone unnoticed. The Lions got Donovan Peoples-Jones out of Cleveland. I like that move. Giving Jared Goff another wide receiver. Fine. Titans did not trade Derrick Henry. When the rumors came out, I think I said it on Sideline to Sideline last week. Unless Derrick Henry wants to be moved, I don't see a reason for Tennessee to do it. Just didn't make sense to me. I think Derrick Henry has enough pull, cachet, that if he loves it in Tennessee and wants to be in Tennessee, then Tennessee should keep him. Ultimately, he didn't get moved, so I read into that he wanted to be in Tennessee. Minnesota needed a quarterback after my boy Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles and is out for the year, some interesting names are out there. Once again, brought up on sideline to sideline. Um, yeah, Mariota out there, who always seems like he's everybody's backup plan. Teddy Bridgewater. I don't know. Hey, Ryan Fitzpatrick, get him off the Thursday night set. I'm sure he'd put on a helmet for another year. They decided on Joshua Dobbs, getting him out of Arizona, which Kyler Murray, I think, is practicing and everything. Looks like he's going to make a return this season. I guess Arizona was like, hey, if you need a quarterback, Dobbs is available. Minnesota came calling. They made the deal. Like I said, I was surprised that's who Minnesota went after, especially after the past couple of weeks, them playing much better, and Dobbs still being a bit of a question mark at the quarterback position. I thought they would have went with somebody who was more established, but maybe Dobbs works out for them. We'll see, because he's gonna get the start this weekend. We'll see what he looks like in the Minnesota purple. So yeah, the trade deadline's now gone. Some teams, I'm surprised, did not make a move, or players that didn't get moved. I was surprised that Denver did not move Jerry Jeudy, because Jerry Jeudy's always on the trade block, and Denver's season not exactly going well. Don't know why they didn't trade him. And Russ seemingly has a better connection with Courtland Sutton than Jerry Jeudy anyway. So why not move Jerry Jeudy? They didn't do it. Brian Burns in Carolina didn't get moved. Was surprised. If you remember in the offseason when all the talk about what was like D linemen in their contract, players in their contracts, all we heard about was Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor. Brian Burns quietly had a bit of a standoff with Carolina as well. So I thought Carolina was going to move him. They were 0-6. Now they're, I think, 1-6 or something. 1-5 maybe. Season's not going anywhere. Burns already is mad about his contract. Doesn't look like Carolina wants to pay him. Why didn't they move him? They chose to keep him. That's their decision. Then, looking at who's another player? I mean, look, Mac Jones, I feel like was brought up because of the Patriots issues. But the report was the Patriots didn't get any calls about Mac Jones, which I guess makes sense. So I guess if you're a Vikings fan, you were tuning in, you'd be like, should we have called for Mac Jones? Or are we fine with having Josh Dobbs as our quarterback? You tell me. For all I know, the Patriots probably didn't make Mac Jones available. Who knows? But yeah, so now the teams seem like they're pretty much set after the trade deadline. We'll revisit this and see Chase Young's impact on the defense and with the 49ers, as well as some of these other moves. Oh yeah, actually, one last thing I wanted to bring up: Dalvin Cook. There was reports he wanted out of New York. The Jets didn't move him.